In the past few weeks since the Parkland, Florida shooting, many schools here in Connecticut have received threats of their own. Dr. Janet Robinson was superintendent of school in Newtown when the Sandy Hook tragedy took place. Now she joins us now with Baldwin, president and CEO of Baldwin Media this morning, to talk a little bit about how schools in the area really handle this. Now, unfortunately, when situations like this do happen, Sandy Hook is kind of thrust right back into it once again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And it kind of, I have to imagine, brings up feelings and thoughts of exactly what happened here.
Oh, it's always just below the surface anyway, but when you see Parkland on TV and you see the students and the parents, everything floods right back.
Now, obviously, getting information out to people, to parents who have kids at school is very important. But how do you go about deciphering that information? What goes out, what doesn't go out, and handling all of that? Well,
part of it's really difficult because of social media now. So if we have a lockdown, we have kids that are tweeting out to their parents they're in lockdown, and some of the information the kids are discussing when they're in lockdown is way off the mark. So I'll have social media out, parents calling, phones ringing off the hook, and I still don't have the accurate information. So I'm often having to send something out saying, we'll let you know just as soon as we have this information. But I might know what it's not.
Right. And it's not that you're trying to not give people information, but you want to make sure that everything is 100% accurate before it does go out.
Correct. And I can't get ahead of the social media, so I have to get something out preliminary, and then they have to wait for the correct information.
Right. Now, and obviously with your media background, how do you go about helping school districts in talking about what information should go out and handling it properly?
Well, Rachel, I really become the conduit between the media and the superintendents or the school boards or whatever. And while we don't have all the details, people want to know something. So what can you tell them right now? Is there something that you can say, we have this under control? Or can you narrow it down where we have a 5th grade boy? So people know. And I also recommend to these educators, stay in your lane. You're not the police department. You're not the hospital. So let's speak to what we can speak to and just give people something, because they need the information. They want to know if their kids are safe. And we live in a different world today. I mean, you know, Janet and I went through Sandy Hook, and now with Parkland, you tag that onto the story every time. It's now Sandy Hook and it's Columbine. So really working with the superintendents and figuring out, do we want to respond to social media? Usually the answer is no.
Right.
But let's be proactive and get our message out so that people have the real story from the real, reliable source, which is key.
And I have to imagine you get kickback from parents on both sides. Yes, we want all this information, or no, you should hold things back. And how do you kind of figure out where that balance is?
It's difficult, and Ann and I are often on the phone when we have a crisis and going, I can't answer, I can't give them all the information yet. What should I be telling them at this point? Because they do want the information, but they're going to be very upset if I give them wrong information.
And oftentimes I feel, you know, while safety obviously is huge, I also feel that there's an overreaction in today's world sometimes, and that people just need to trust in the leadership and trust in the superintendent and the folks that are at the school, that they're going to do everything they can to keep their kids safe. I mean, that goes without saying. But it's just making sure that you communicate, and the news media is part of that. You know, sometimes I'll say, well, we don't want to talk about that, you know, and I say we need to talk about that because that's where your audience is. So making sure that they also utilize the media as a tool and not look at them as the enemy.
Exactly. Ladies, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
All right.